Hello, I'm Rachel Piper. Welcome to my channel, Size Diverse Pilates, where I am trying to make Pilates more accessible to the larger population. Today we're going to go over cat, kneeling in front of the chair. These are actually two prep exercises, and we're going to focus on the top part of the body and then the lower part of the body, meaning the hips, pressing those forward. And then this is sort of to guide you, to give you some prep work to do. It's meant to be challenging, or I want you to get into these positions and try and make it a little bit challenging so that you can build some work and then take your cat up top on the chair or take it over to the Cadillac Tower springboard and do your Tippy cat, which is in a different video of mine. You can do that with a little bit more confidence because you have built sort of that strength and the feeling in your legs, hips, and upper body. So I have a Balance Body Centerline chair here, and I have one high spring on for this exercise. And what I have here is some padding for my knees because I'm on a cement floor and my knees are kind of hurt today. And then the other thing I have is I have this balance pad, and the reason I have this balance pad is because we are trying to get as much of our shin, the top of our ankle and the top of our foot down on the mat when we're doing our cat, so that we have sort of more surface area that we can use to bring the hips forward so that we can curl forward into that cat. So I have these two things set up. These pads actually come from my Contrology mat from Balance Body as well. They were already down here, so I decided to get that instead of taking another mat out and just rolling it up. These are kind of nice. So this pad is just a regular balance pad. You're gonna start on the knees in front of your chair. And one, you're gonna be a little bit closer, and then one, we're gonna move back. So if I pulled this down, again, I have one heavy spring on. I have about 5 inches from my paddle to the front of my padding here. And then I'm just going to walk myself forward as much as possible. And again, there's a little space here, but that's okay. Ultimate goal is that I'm trying to get that ankle and that foot down, and I'm trying to keep those hips forward by pressing the shins and the top of my feet in. So from here, we have our knee over our hip, just from the side here, and then we have that nice press down here. It's okay if you have a little bit of a gap. You can always pad underneath if you want to feel that full amount. I'll be okay where I'm at. So from here, you want to be close, but your arms are probably going to be pretty far away, and it all depends on how tall you are. I'm 5'9", so I have pretty long legs, and my arms are actually pretty long. So I'm just going to start by placing my fingertips on the top of the chair, and I'm going to work on pressing my hips forward right now and trying to press my legs down into my two props here. Now, if this is a lot for you, or you're not sure how to connect pressing those knees down and also wrapping those hips together to bring your hips forward, I recommend getting a small ball and just putting that small ball right in between your knees. That will help you get a little bit more of a midline connection so that you can try squeeze the ball and then press those hips forward. So let's take the fingertips to our pedal, and then we're thinking about being super tall from our tailbone to the top of our head. And then from here, we're gonna start, articulation starts all the way up in our head. So we start with that very first cervical bit here, and then we're going to go down, and once we start getting down into the thoracic, we're going to continue to walk the hands forward, press the hips forward, and round the spine. Then when our heels get to the pedal, we're going to start pressing in a little bit. So hips go forward, we're going to take the arms, connect the arms to the back, and then once you get to a place where you're going to have to curl your spine, I want you to do it intentionally. And you're going to then curl your spine down. You're not pressing with your arms. You are making sure that your arms are connected to your back and your center are what are moving your spine as you press down. You're not going down all the way. You're only going down as far as you can keep the hips forward. So you should be pressing the shins down like crazy, tops of the feet, pressing your hips forward, and then you're gonna come up. When you come up, you're trying to come up with intention. Again, you're resisting the spring, and then as you come up, you're gonna wanna lift your head. I want you to try and keep it down, and then I want you to walk your hands back, and then walk the rest of your spine up nice and tall. Let's just do one more like that. So you start curling your spine down, walk your fingers out a little bit until your heels are here and you feel like, okay, I need to keep those hips pressed forward and I'm starting to get to that round in my back. Then from here, you're gonna press the pedal down, connect the arms to the back, and then the only reason you're curling your spine down is because you're working your center, pressing your hips forward. And then once you get to a spot where it's like you might just fall down, then you're gonna press the hips forward like crazy, press the shins in, start bringing the spine up. And again, once you get here, I want you to walk those hands back to help you straighten up that spine. Okay, so you can repeat that. 4, 5, 6 times are really good. The idea is that you're really trying to press hips forward and bring those shins down, and then allowing your center and your arm back connection to press the pedal down and lift you back up. And again, like, it's not gonna be perfect, right? I mean, I'm sure I started to lift my head before I should, but that's why we practice and we do multiple reps. Each time we're thinking about, okay, how can I get a little bit more out of my spine? How can I start lower and walk myself back up to my tall spine? So next exercise we're gonna do, or next prep that we're gonna do, we're gonna move ourselves back a little bit so that it feels like you're a little bit farther away than what you want to be. And this one, we're actually gonna take the pedal down and we're gonna work on that, how to come back up and press the hips up. So as you're here, you might, when you walk forward, I want you to get your heels on, like on the front side here of your chair, and I want you to press the hips forward. And it doesn't really matter to me how you get down, but eventually you're gonna try and start straight, pressing the hips forward, and then still doing the same thing where you curl yourself down. Continue to press the hips forward here to bring yourself all the way down. And you'll know if you are not back far enough, because if you sit back a little bit, it means that you just need to scooch back a little bit. So as I'm here, make sure you have your hands secure on your pedal. I'm just gonna walk back a little bit because I wanna be in a place where it's gonna be really hard for me to lift that pedal. So I'm gonna try and press the hips forward, and then you're just gonna try and barely lift the pedal, pressing the hips forward, and then you're gonna push it back down. Push it back down. So that first initial movement is going to should seem like really, really hard. Maybe it's easy for some people, not easy for me. But the idea is that you're pressing your hips so far forward and you're trying to press your legs down that to hover this pedal, you have to really draw the hips forward and really pick yourself up from your low ribs, just like you would do in your elephant on reformer. So let's try that. Nice big pick up, and then you're lifting up those bottom ribs and then trying to press the hips forward. And then you're gonna place it back down with control. Then you're gonna try and pick those ribs up, press those hips forward, and then push that back down. Now we can try and lift up almost all the way here. So get yourself centered again here, and then try and do that again. Try and press into those legs, press the hips forward, lift up right underneath that sternum, bottom ribs go up, press the hips forward like crazy, and then at some point your arms aren't just good, arms aren't going to be long enough, so you're going to have to go ahead and come up. Then from there you can do just a little bit of a stretch. Maybe go a little side to side here and then come back. So there's 2 quick preps. One is you trying to curl all the way from the top down to a place where it gets a little tricky and then roll yourself back up. Then the other is backing yourself up, bringing the pedal down and trying to figure out how you can lift that pedal, not all the way up, but lift it up with control while pressing the hips forward and really trying to come up, like right through the sternum, all the way up through those low ribs, all the way up to the top. So what is that like? It's definitely like that up stretch, definitely like up down combo. It's a really good shape for elephant and knee stretches, round and knee stretches off as well. So all of those should definitely help, especially that bottom lifting part. It's the same kind of idea that we need to do knees off, which is a theme that is on onlinepilatesclasses.com this month of January. And I teach the reformer for that one, but it reminds me a lot of that particular exercise and trying to step into that exercise and take the legs out and pull the legs back in. It's sort of that same muscle shape or muscle, it's that same muscle set and that same back shape. So it's very, very interesting how these are all related. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. The more people do that, the more I'll be able to put some content out there, or maybe it'll keep me motivated to keep making some of these. And I'm hoping to make more shorts this new year, so that, you know, you get little pieces of stuff and some shorter classes, maybe some longer classes. So I look forward to this new year with you all.